Now I'm making this video because one of the guys who watched the channel was very nice enough to go through his kicker covers and make a video with what he believes to be correct based upon the kicker covers that he has. So some of the stuff we know when you find a loose kicker cover, it's therefore because of this bike or that bike, and some of it is pure conjecture based upon previous history of what you know. So let me go over these bikes, and we're going to talk about kicker covers. And obviously this is going to bore a lot of people, but for those of us who want a correct original paint or a correct restoration, or something that would apply correctly, this would be important. So we begin. Remind everybody what this bike is. This is a 1947 FL 6007. They made approximately 11,947 knuckleheads, a bit of knuckleheads. We have substantiated invoices that seem to confirm that production number and original paints. So this bike here, I have history on it since new. It was found approximately 23 years ago. The guy I got it from the original owner's widow. It was encased with grease for decades. It has absolutely no indication of ever coming apart whatsoever. The front end's never been off this bike. I can pick it up in the air. I can barely turn the fork. It's never been apart. So have a look at it. We're going to go real up and close. I call this bike Old Blue. And for those who are wondering, yes, only the very late 47s do not have these military floorboards. That is correct. The seat here is so juicy, it has no cracks. Just incredible. I can pick this up, there's no cracks here. Just incredible condition motorcycle, original paint. So I can fire it up anytime I want by putting gas, oil, and battery in it. Starts right up, not a problem, right down the road. I don't want to injure it, so I'm not riding this bike at this point in time. It needs service. So let's go have a look at Mr. Bill here. Now again, this is 47 FL 6007. Now, I'd like to remind the guys who forgot or don't know that until 1969, Harley-Davidson, for most of their production, started the year model with the year of manufacture, or the intended model of what it was of that year. There were a couple of exceptions, which we're going to get to. So 47 1001, or 69 1001, or 1919 would be 19, whatever the model was, 1001. You follow? Once they started the year model in the motor number, it was 1001. The model of what it was with the letters, and 1001 would be the first production off the line of that year. During the knuckle years, the invoices are quite clear. It gives us time in production. During the knuckle years, during the panhead years, production started in September. The exception being post-war in 46, because we weren't out of the war yet. Production was delayed until October 16th or whatever it was, when finally the war board lifted civilian production, and yay, we can build bikes again. And then they go, oh wait, we have no materials. Whoops. We accept this order. We hope to put it in production as soon as possible. It's right on the invoices I uploaded. Do your research. The information's there for everybody. I put every invoice I got, all 352 plus of them, online with letters and substantiating documents from Harley-Davidson. Do your research. It's all right there. So we begin. Here's about the kicker covers. I want you to look very closely here. When you make a casting, you have to feed, you make a mold, and it doesn't matter if it's a lost wax casting or if it's a sand casting, you make a mold, and there's a way to get, there's a top and bottom to it, there's a way to get the aluminum into the cast area, you follow, which leaves a section of it that has too much material off of it that has to be cut off and removed. Now in the case of these kicker covers, the feeder was right here, because obviously they didn't want to mess with machining on the inside, and it's just easier to do, and we were worried about clearances and all that sort of stuff, so they made it right there on the outside. Why they did it underneath, I don't know. We'll talk to the tech, but that's where they did it. The important thing is this kicker, the way it's machined, you understand, is exactly the same way as Mr. Bill. Exactly the same way. And this is 6007. Now Mr. Bill, over here, which we have the man online on his interview, talking about how the bike was found, how he had it, how long he had it, all that sort of stuff. All he did to this motorcycle was put this 12-volt turn signal generator kit on, and the law came out. And this is a Harley Davidson factory kit, you follow? So it would most likely have been installed by the dealer. It was a mid-60s law that came out in Michigan. Everybody's got to have turn signals. So he went ahead and did it. It's a beautiful original paint bike. Not quite as nice as the old blue over there, but still very, very high end. And we've taken the motor and training out. Duncan did that, and we built it. Now, I'll remind you of the story. Mr. Bill got it from his buddy in 61. The title confirmed it. Mr. Bill was 88 years old when he did the interview. I have no idea if he's still around or not. I've had this bike for 3 years. I bought it on my 50th birthday celebration. And I just turned 53. So we've had it for 3 years. Or say 50, 51, 52, 53. So 4 years we had it. 4 years. Excuse me there. So 4 years we've had this motorcycle. So Mr. Bill would be about 92 if he's still around. And he bought it in 61 from his good buddy. They were kids. The original owner had retired. Bought it, wrote it in the summer, he said, only on a nice day, put 1,000 miles on it. His pal bought it and sold it to him in 61. The Harley Davidson dealer, his son, was still around, and he remembered the bike. He was there and knew about the bike his whole life. So the tale is confirmed. That's the tale. That's what happened. This is what the bike is. Simple as that. So Mr. Bill's motor number on that is 10,294. Okay, 10,294. So that makes it the 9,294th one off the line. You understand? They made 11,900. This is the 9,294th off the line. They made 11,900. So let's just do a little arithmetic here, roughly. So we have 10,294, 11,294. We have another 2,600 bikes made after this one. So let's go over here. We're going to look at the motor number, confirm it for everybody. (47) FL 10,294. Now let's go back and look at our frames. We got two bikes, only two 47s, only two, better than none. You can't talk about this stuff if you don't have the original paints to confirm it. Having a part doesn't give you any clue at all what might have come what and where. Now, take a look at this neck right here. There's no foundry mark on the neck, yeah? You have nothing there on the seat post. That's what we're looking for. And we have here two U's on 6007. And we have here same location, two U's. This is important. They ran out of frames. We know this. They ran out of frames because they had to remake the frame with the foundry mark, and the last ones had the same UU in the side of the neck, right here, a totally different mold, which means they remade that mold. It's a knuckle frame. It don't fit a panhead frame. They had to remake it completely. They ran out. They accepted too many orders. They ran out of stuff. Now, We're going to go take a look at Mr. Bill's transmission. Now, this is important for anybody who wants to know this stuff. We have here the exact same kicker cover, the exact same bung removal. So now we can get in and see here because it's all nice and clean. That's a D7, which is April 1947, if we're thinking that is the year and month, with it right side up. Okay, on 10,294. On 10,294, this kicker, if that is correct, wasn't made till April of 1947. What we have here is an invoice, which was date entered. This is the date of acceptance. This is domestic sales order acknowledgement from Harley Davidson of April 15th, 47. It didn't leave the factory till September 8th, 1947, and this one is 47E 12195. Okay, well, if they made 11,900, this is 11,195. So they still had 700 more to go. This one wasn't shipped out until 8 days into the 48 production year. When 48 came around, we're making panheads. They're making 500 a month. It's right on my invoices. It's right on my invoices. Give me production numbers, times when I left the factory, which gives me an indication of how many they're making every month. Bam, 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 500 a month. They finally got enough materials, and they still got another 700 knuckleheads to finally make for 47. So which do you think they paid attention to? The panheads they desperately want for the new year, or the knuckleheads, hey, well, if you don't take your bike you ordered, we're yanking your dealer's license. They still had, we got ants everywhere around this stupid place. They still had brand new in the crate knuckleheads in the 70s in the dealers. Because once the panhead came out, nobody wanted these things. So again, we got 10,294 with a kicker of assuming we're assuming correct here, of April of 47. Now, I got something better for you. Let's go have a look at this. This is the highest number knucklehead original paint that I know of that's ever been found. Doesn't mean there's not anyone out there. I just don't know about it. And this used to be my bike. This was 12,500 and something. Original paint motorcycle. Wow, it was made in the 48 panhead year, and it's got the same kicker cover, which means so did the 48 panheads. You understand? I just proved for a fact the 48 panheads had the exact same kicker cover. They wouldn't have made one for this and one for that. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Did not happen. Same tranny. Why would you make this? That is like, slap those parts. They're in the business of making money, guys. So, let's go back to our little 38 kicker cover. Question, why is this upside down? Why has it got that there? They don't have it here. Not in the same way. A little bit different. There's a little number there. It certainly doesn't have that. We have a totally different bung removal process here than the 47s had, even the one made in the 48 year. Totally different bung removal process. Now, he brought a good point up. What about the late Throwout Bearing? Well, a lot of people think it came out in 40. A lot of people think it's machined relief. Well, here's a Nano West one. It's cast. See that casting? That's cast. It was a cast relief. They cast the relief in. Now, Harley Davidson always experimented on their public, and the Knucklehead was an experiment all the way through. They did running changes as they did this stuff. And we have the breather here, machined into it. Now, I don't know what kicker cover our 38 has. All indications are this bike's never been completely apart. Certainly the top end's been done. My assumption is probably the motor. I really doubt this transmission's been gone through, but we'll find out. it could have been gone through in 1940 and leave no signs. We don't know. There's no way to know that for certain. So I won't know exactly what's in that kicker cover until I pull it apart. But what we have here is no numbers on this kicker. You follow? No numbers that we can see. There's certainly not any raised numbers. So why is that and what's going on here? Well, as we just said, we've got the cast relief here for the later throwout. We have the machine breather hole here. So what's going on? Well, guess what? In 38, you have early and late 38 running changes. This is 2604, which is 1604 off the line. They made 2900 of these bikes. So mine's a mid-year. Already got the late fork, already got the late frame, has late tanks, late decal, which is late 38 only, different decal, different heads, late heads. So exactly when did they come out with the late throwout bearing? Well, real good example is this. The Eaton gas cap, which by the way was an EDM until somewhere around 39 or 40, they went to Eaton. And I don't have any original paint 39s to confirm, not like people don't change gas caps. But certainly through 38, it was an EDM cap. It was not put into a production, you sent out to the dealer production item until mid 46. It has a -35 part number. They did the change roughly when they might put it into production. Sometimes it was in production earlier, and sometimes it was in production later. As we pointed out through the -42 fork. And there's our 42F over there with the earlier fork. It does not imply at that moment in time, at the beginning of production, that was exactly what we put on. That's not what happened. So when did the late throwout bearing come out? We're going to show you. We have here the early kicker gear and the late kicker gear, which is the late throwout bearing, 2146-39. And we have here 2146-39 starter clutch, 39 to 41. They did running changes, so more than likely the last of your 38s had the update. They weren't going to remake a failed system if they ran out. They didn't know how many they were selling. It was the Great Depression. Make the new shit. They already had it running and in order and in gear when they made this stuff. And if we're going by the date codes, assuming this would be J8, okay, count this up with me. We got beginning of January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay, July, August, September, and October of 38. Which means this, if this is a date code for the year, and I'm correct in adding everything else up, this is a dealer replacement item made in October of 38, which is a 39 production part. Things go inside. Is it correct for a 38? In my opinion, yes. Is it a dealer replacement item? Well, if this was a 48 part, it would have been on that late Knucklehead. The original paint bikes don't lie. The invoices don't lie. The parts books don't lie. This is factory documentation. A part that you got off of something, who knows where it came from, that's difficult at best. So again, our friend on YouTube was nice enough to make a video, and if you look at his parts, he has quite a few kickers with this early style bung removal. Okay, again, running changes. So when did this go away? And when did the breather come out on the tranny case? Well, we know in 40, when? Was it early 40? Was it a mid-year 40? Was it a late 39? I don't have enough original paint bikes to tell you that. They made a lot of running changes, and you could get earlier stuff or later stuff. We've got two 40s here, and Greenie has a 39 set of gears in a 40 case, and my 40 police bike has a 39 earlier style square toolbox. You want it, they did it. Nobody in 1950 put them gears in Greenie. It didn't happen, man. You know, get over it. That's the way the bike came. It wouldn't even happen in 1941 when the gears were everywhere. Those gears were there on purpose. Either the guy asked for it or they ran out. They gave the dealer a discount. One of those three things. We'll never know. We don't have the invoice, and it may not even have been on the invoice. So, but it came with those gears. There's no other way that happened. It just didn't happen without it coming that way. So, there we have it. Without a letter other from Harley, those kickers with that upside down trip, those are factory replacement items. The factory replacement under warranty items were often different. Greenie has a factory replacement rear leg that doesn't have these little bungs here. They use these bungs all the way up on the Springer, except for the factory replacement rear leg. That was the indication to the dealer when it came in and says, hey, my whatever broke or this happened, that he already knew it was replaced or not replaced based upon the part. These kickers broke. They were weak. It was a poor design because they did not put enough metal in the aluminum here for saving metal. If this was solid, they wouldn't have had a problem. But because they got cheap on the aluminum, they cracked routinely and often. So they had under warranty replacements, and that's what this is. It's an under warranty replacement. Assuming the date code is correct, and we're reading date codes correct, this would be October of 38 replacement, which would make it perfectly correct, in my opinion, for this motorcycle. So therefore, that is as close to answering the riddle as I can get. Again, let me remind you, we have a picture of the bike that I owned, 12,500 and something, that was obviously made in the 1948 year with the exact same kicker as Mr. Bill in Old Blue. And this bike here, right there in the neck, which unfortunately I don't have a picture of, but it had the UU in the side of the neck. Different frame. They only made stuff when they had to make it. See you guys in the next video.